Well, I decided to follow Jesus when I was like 10 years old because I didn't want to go to hell. I walked down to the front of the church during revival and told the pastor I was ready to become a Christian because I was scared to death of going to hell. And so for the next 6 years of my life, I got really good at being able to kind of stay good enough with God so that I stayed out of hell, but also doing whatever it took to fit in with all of my friends and all the students that I went to school with. And so I really did a good job of straddling this fence between kind of living the way I wanted to live and then messing up and asking for forgiveness so I'd stay out of hell, but then also kind of being able to do the stuff with my friends that I wanted to do and partying and all that kind of stuff. And I just kind of went back and forth my entire school career, just trying my best to fit in, but also to stay out of hell. So midway through my junior year in high school, my family moved from Alabama to Kentucky. And so I left behind everything that I knew, lifelong friends and a community that I knew, school that I knew, backwards and forwards, and everything was going great for me. At least I thought. I was playing drums in a band and had a great girlfriend. I mean, everything was just awesome. And all of a sudden, everything got uprooted and my whole world got turned completely upside down. And I found myself in this new place where I knew absolutely nothing about it. I didn't know the school, I knew no one, nobody knew me, and they'd had all their friends established their entire life, and here I was, this outsider, stepping in and trying to learn this new thing and make new friends for the first time in forever. And it was at that time when I thought, man, it's just gonna be me, and if it's just gonna be me, then it's just gonna be me and Jesus. And I decided it was time for me to start getting serious about really living for Him, and not just to stay out of hell, but to really live for Jesus. We happened to get involved in a really good church, Southeast Christian Church in Louisville, and it was there where the student pastor and the small group leader and a small group of students for some reason took an interest in me and began to invest in me like nobody ever had before. And it was there really where I began to understand really the power of the church and what Jesus does to the church and how community happens best in the church. And that began to change my life. It began to change how I lived for Jesus and what that looked like. And that's where I started to find out that, man, I love this thing called the church. And that's where I decided to give my life to really serving God for the rest of my life in ministry and doing that. And so, through the church, I discovered community like I'd never known it before. And that's really where it began to become real to me, that the church really is the hope of the world. So from there, I attended Cincinnati Bible College and I had a youth ministry on the side, and that was awesome. Learned a lot at that time. It was there where I learned a lot about leadership and about the Bible and about caring for people. That's also where I met my incredible wife, Sharon, who's beautiful and like my very best friend in the world, and really my strong side and my huge support in my life. And we've been married for almost 30 years now, and we were able to leave Cincinnati Bible College and jump right into an incredible church that we got to serve at for 27 years at Southland Christian in Lexington. And at Southland, we were blessed to be able to serve alongside of three of the most gifted lead pastors in not only that church's history, but all of church history, and Wayne Smith, and Mike Bro, and John Weiss. Well, it's also there where our kids were born, raised, and learned to follow Jesus with their lives. Our daughter Maddie is a first grade teacher in an underserved community where she takes care of kids who come from marginalized families. And our son Carter is going to be a physician assistant. His wife Sydney's a nurse who's studying to be a nurse practitioner. They're going to give their lives to serving the needs of people, not only physically, but also spiritually. And we counted a blessing that we were a part of a church where our kids learned and saw that not only were they taught to love and serve marginalized people, but it was modeled for them and inspired them to live their lives on mission as well. So Southland, we were able to lead through some major transitions in the church and in organizational life. I mean, there were amazing times of celebration, and there were some intense times of struggle and fight. We helped the church transition from a traditional style of ministry to a more relevant style of ministry, from being insider focused to really being aggressive about reaching lost and hurting people. We led through struggles of financial and leadership and staffing and strategic crisis. And we helped launch a multi-site movement that was going to reach the state of Kentucky. And we were part of thousands of baptisms. And we saw the church grow from about 2,500 people to right about 15,000 people. So such an incredible part of our lives has been investing at Southland and having the opportunity to have Southland invest in us and be a part of such an amazing and beautiful ministry. So in the 30 years that I've been a part of ministry, I've learned a whole lot, and I've unlearned a whole lot. I've learned that following Jesus isn't about staying out of hell, but it's about life, and it's about freedom, and it's about relationship. Man, I'm super passionate about helping people discover who Jesus really is and who he really is not, what it means to follow him, and really what it doesn't mean to follow him. I've learned that I'm passionate about fighting for hurting, marginalized, and lost people. I've learned that my gifts of leadership, administration, strategic processes, operation, organizational life, all things that are super exciting to people like me who are nerds, that actually those gifts can help create the right environments for people to really connect with Jesus in ways that maybe they would have never imagined before. I've learned that ministry doesn't happen best inside the walls of a building, but outside the walls, through relationships that we build with people in our everyday lives that we care about. See, the church isn't a building. It's us, and it's us living out the greatest commandment that God ever gave us, to love him and to love people. So my motto has become always in the fight, because every day we're in a fight. We're always fighting for people who need somebody to stand in the gap for them, and we're fighting an enemy who uses lies to destroy us, and we fight for the people in our lives that we really, really care about and love, and we even fight for our own health. And we fight to keep our identity in Jesus and in nothing else. So my life's mission is to keep fighting, keep learning, keep growing, and to keep on creating more ways for people to experience the life and the freedom that only come from following Jesus.